Hey folks, thanks for tuning in for another video. This one's going to be a little bit different, slightly different from my usual uh, knife and multi-tool fare. This is going to be a quick video about the Lamy or Lamy Safari pen. Both of the two that you see before you here are the fountain pen. So the quick background story behind this is that my wife is actually sort of a pen collector, a pen aficionado. She has some really nice pens that she uses, and she has absolutely beautiful handwriting. She's done calligraphy, and she has done these little handwriting. I don't know what you call it. It's sort of, someone that's really good at handwriting. They're very artistic. They have these really cool, creative types of handwriting that they learn. You find these books on calligraphy or on handwriting, and you learn these different styles. She's always been a big fan of that sort of thing, and she's had a lot of cool pens in her personal collection over the years, and she's one of those people that they're very picky about a pen. So some of us are very picky about knives, other people are really picky about watches. Her thing is pens. The Lamy or Lamy, I'll say Lamy for the balance of this video, but I'm not really exactly sure which is absolutely correct. I'm just going with that for the rest of this one. Lamy pens in particular are not very expensive. In fact, everything that I read online says that the pens were originally produced to be a nice, affordable, yet elegant pen for students. Something that you can take to class and use every day, but you still get the nice writing style or the nice effect that you get with a fountain pen. They also make ballpoint pens and roller pens, I believe. So they've got a few different styles, but they do make a really nice fountain pen. And over the past few years, these have become very popular, especially in the US now. I think they've been popular in Europe for some time, but they're very popular in the US now because they are a very inexpensive pen, but they write very well. They've got a really nice effect to them. There's a really cool sort of vibe to seeing a fountain pen when it writes, and depending on the thickness and the ink you use, you can get some pretty interesting and artistic effects. So this wasn't really the most expensive pen. In fact, it's quite inexpensive. Both of these were had for under $30 US. But I had read reviews. I wanted to get her something different, something new, and also something that she wasn't going to have to keep perfect. She could throw it in her purse, put it in her bag, maybe fold it up in one of her notebooks or something and not worry about it if it got scratched or even if it became damaged or lost. Something that could be replaced easily, but that had good quality. So that was how I found the Lamy Safari. Now there are also a few competitors to this. Another one would be the Kaweco Sport, and another is the Noodler's Ahab pen. So they're all similar price, $20 to $30. They're about as effective as one another, but people have one particular type of pen that they prefer over another. And after reading all the reviews that I had and kind of watching some videos on YouTube and a few other sources, I had decided that the Lamy Safari was the one that I wanted to get for her. I thought she could try it out. If she liked it, she could buy another. Maybe she could try one of the other brands or something. So it was just sort of a little gateway gift to some of the more inexpensive fountain pens. And in fact, her fountain pens that she has now, I think, are a lot of them are antiques. They're quite old, and they're not the kind of thing that you would carry every day. They're a little bit harder to fill than some of the newer designs. So I got her one of these to try out, and she really liked it. I watched her use it, and I saw her filling it and trying it out, and I liked it so much I got kind of jealous, and I decided that I wanted one for myself. And so after a while, I broke down and purchased one for myself. And of course, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I have to have the obnoxiously bright version of something if I can. So I went and purchased it's the same pen. Mine has a different size nib from hers, but it's the same. It may look like a highlighter or a felt tip marker, but it is in fact a fountain pen. Now this bright neon yellow that you see here was actually, I believe, the 2013 limited edition model. And so for the past several years, Lamy has been releasing limited edition colors. I think the year before was like a bright green or like a lime green. The year before that was orange, purple. Normally they come in, the colors that come in are a little bit more standard: red, blue, gray, silver. This one I think is called graphite. And then of course there's a shiny black. You can see that the two here, a little bit different texturally. This one's more of a matte finish, and this one you can see is very shiny. So other than that, though, they're the same size, the same clip, and they perform the same. Now, they do have different nibs, and I am not a pen guy at all. I don't know the terminology. I'm not really very well experienced with all the different facets of a pen. So don't look to this video to be some sort of comprehensive review because I'm not your guy, but I will just show you some basics, you know, the difference between them. One of the things I did want to mention is that they have a different type of ink in each one. Mine has what is known as a Lamy cartridge, and I will take one out of this little plastic baggie here and show you what it looks like. So mine has a black cartridge, this one here is blue, and what makes the Lamy fountain pens pretty cool is if you're not the type to want to hassle with messy ink, you don't want to be spilling it or having to pour it into anything or use the little syringe or any of these other methods. If you don't want one of these more intensive methods in order to fill your fountain pen, but you still would like to use a fountain pen, Lamy has created these very convenient cartridges for you. So the way that this would work is you would uncap the pen, unscrew the end here, this part unscrews, and well, there you go. Now you can see that the cartridge clicks into, it pushes into the little feeder dealie. I'm probably using the wrong term, but it feeds in, it clicks into this portion of the pen, and then you either can push it, you know, use a little bit of force on the back to break open that cartridge and get it running, or you can simply tighten the back of the Safari pen down, and once it tightens down all the way, it will actually break the little seal that is at the end of this fella, and then the ink will begin to eventually flow down through this portion into the nib of the pen, and off you go. So that's how that one is filled. My wife's pen, however, uses this, and this is a Lamy Z24 converter cartridge. What this does essentially is allows you to plug this into a Lamy pen as if it were one of their standard cartridges, but in fact you can fill this empty portion here with whatever ink you choose, which is pretty slick. So you still get the convenience of a Lamy. You can always switch back to their standardized cartridges, but at any time, if you get a wild idea that you'd like to use a bright green or a pink or something, you can order up or purchase locally whatever type of ink you like, and then simply fill up this little container here. It kind of acts like a syringe. The way that you fill it is that you screw and unscrew it. There's a little plunger in here. See that? Hopefully it focuses in. There we go. You use this little plunger dealie, and you fill it up. You draw the ink up into this little chamber, and then after you kind of want to run it up and down a few times to get the air out. I'm not going to go into the great details of it, but anyway, then you plug it in your pen just like you would one of the regular cartridges, and again, off you go. So let me show you real quick. I'll put that off to the side. Let me show you real quick the difference between the two nibs and then the two inks. And I don't know how terribly obvious it's going to be on this video at all, and it's probably not going to be obvious, but if you can see, mine on the left has an M, and on the right her pen has an EF. The M stands for medium. It's a medium thickness nib. The EF is extra fine. Now I kind of blindly chose the extra fine because my wife's pens that she currently uses, and in fact also her mechanical pencils, are very, very thin. And she writes very small a lot of the time, and she's such a good handwriter. There's a term for that. Someone's watching this video laughing at me because I don't know the name for it. But she has such exceptional handwriting that she's able to write beautifully and also very small. And a lot of times I'll watch her make notes for herself, and she writes these really tiny little notes, and I can barely make them out. But she's really, really good at it, and she likes a very fine tipped pen or pencil, and so I decided to get her the extra fine. So, and see, I'm just gonna absolutely botch this trying to write behind the viewfinder here. The touchiness of the extra fine nib, because it is so thin, you've really got to lay it down just right for it to make good contact with the paper. And it takes a little bit of technique. In fact, the fountain pens in general seem to exhibit that. Mine does that as well. You've got to write with it just the right way for it to make good contact and to write. But I imagine, let me see if I can pull this off. Here's mine. This is with the medium nib. Hopefully mine will come out of there a little bit easier. Yeah, see, for somebody like me, a little bit more of a brute, a little bit more heavy-handed, this one rolls out a little bit easier. But what's funny is when I watch her write, hers doesn't come out, when I did it right now, it's kind of sketchy. When she writes with it, it comes out perfectly. She's just got a really nice technique, and I don't. I'm clumsy. So, and now I kind of ruined it because I wanted you to see how thin the extra fine was. So let me write extra fine. I know most of you have already closed out the video right now. I'm probably talking to myself, but I don't know if you can, and I'll hold it up close to the camera here so you can kind of see the difference. Now, when a lot of you say, why are you making this video? I had more than one person request this video, so there was someone out there that wanted to see it. Let me see if I can get that to focus. You could see that it's not terribly thin compared to the medium, but it is thinner. It is finer, so you can actually go much thicker than the medium. There are some really thick nibs. In fact, there's some really wide ones that are really great for calligraphy and some real stylized artistic writing. And there's some really cool effects that you can get with the different size nibs. I went with a medium just so I could use it as a general use, everyday sort of pen. But if you had a more, if you had something very specific in mind that you wanted to do with your pen, then you would probably choose one of the really thick ones or the really thin ones. But the medium, I think, is a good general all-around size. For those of you who had questions as far as, how does it write, I'm really happy with it. Just in general, it's comfortable. One of the things that I will note is that because it does have this sort of triangular, see that handle? It's got these two sort of flattened portions, and then the bottom portion is rounded. It sort of forces you to hold the pen a certain way, which is good because it trains you to hold it just the right way for the nib to make good contact with the paper. But some people don't like that, and so some of the other choices out there, some of the other alternatives to this pen, this portion is rounded so you can kind of hold it however you want. Some people don't like that this one basically sets you up to only write one way. But for myself, I've been pretty happy with the Lamy Safari, whatever you call that part. Sorry, again, I don't know all the different terms. But this little column, this little segment of the pen, to me is comfortable, and it fits, it feels right in my fingers. So I haven't had any issues with it. So that's pretty much it. I can't really think of anything else to say about these for now. I haven't had mine for very long. I think I've had it for about a month or two, and my wife's had hers for a little bit longer than that. I might come back with a full review. I just don't really think that I'm all that qualified, but maybe I could come back with a layperson's review in the future to let you know what I think of it, for overall usage. But just this little my early view on it, my sort of an early review, whatever you want to call it, preview of it, is my expectations have been met. I've been happy with it. I think that it's comfortable. I think that it's cool. I think that it looks nice. I dig this clip. That works great. Very similar to, some of the wire clips we've got on some of our Spydercos. So that clips really deep into your pocket. You don't have a lot of pen waggling out the top. And it's nice and smooth, nice and curved. No little jabby or pointy edges. Nowhere on the pen at all, in fact. So, for those of you who have been kind of on the fence or wondering about the Lamy Safari, there you have it. A little insight, a little mini video about it. And that's pretty much it. I just keep repeating myself. So, check it out if you're interested. If you have any questions, please comment below. I would be happy to answer them. And as always, you can find me here on YouTube or on Instagram under the same name. Thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.